Jesus warns the enemy hid your scroll, a blessing meant just for you. Don't skip this, because what you're about to hear changes everything, and you need the full story. Heaven hasn't done anything like this in a very long time, chosen one. There's a special message out there, and your name is on it. This message isn't just an alert for everyone, it's a direct message to you. If you are hearing this, it means that the important message has already left God's throne room, and is on its way to the person it was written for. You are that person. This isn't just a nice thought, it's a real message. A long time ago, before you even knew your name, a red stamp with a time on it was put on a scroll. Now is that time. As of now, most people who used to look out for this kind of message from God have stopped. You didn't stop though. Even though you couldn't say why, something inside you kept listening. Stay where you are. What these words will do for you will completely change how you see the point of your life. There is truth to this special warning. The last few hundred years are real. What about that line under your name? Also, that line is true. There was something that line did to you before you even had words for it. You've had a quiet sense of certainty when you're feeling calm. It shows up even though you didn't ask for it. It tells you almost silently that something big is being planned with you in mind. As soon as that feeling hits, a strong doubt comes in and tries to push it down. That sure thing doesn't last long enough for you to really look at it, but it keeps coming back. It's likely that 3 different places have shown you the same sentence, picture, or small piece of scripture in the same week. It could be from a stranger, a song, or a verse that caught your eye when you opened a book by accident. It's been months since you said it was just a coincidence, and you haven't had anyone to talk to about it. You also get the sense that you're placed, like you're meant to be in a certain place. Not where you wanted to be or what you would have chosen, but somewhere that was picked just for you. You were never told what to do there. You've also dreamed that someone reading your name out loud. Not whispered, but spoken out loud, like it came from a page. There's a reason why this certainty keeps coming back. There's a reason why you keep getting the same small message. You don't feel like you're meant to be here by accident. Not by chance. Your name keeps being called out in places you can't see with open eyes. Please know that every seed you plant in this mission grows into a torch that shines in someone else's darkness. Whether by buying a coffee, making a donation, or becoming a member of our community, does not go to a channel. Your actions are supporting a divine mission to save lost souls. But more than your support, we want your presence. When you head to our community, through the link in the description or the pinned comment, you aren't just visiting a site, you are entering a community of like-minded believers. This is a sanctuary where you can post your prayer requests, lift up the burdens of others, and engage in daily discussions with a family that speaks the language of faith. Whether you are joining one of our membership tiers for deeper study, sowing a seed of faith, or simply joining our daily morning prayers, you are helping us build a global altar of worship. Heaven moves through willing voices, but it grows through a community that stands together. Each gift you give acts as living water, for those in our community seeking healing and hope. Give, and it will be given to you, is the promise that sustains our shared mission. I invite you now to step out of the shadows and into this circle of prayer. Come with purpose, join the conversation, and plant your seed in fertile ground. Let's open the heavens together. Release your seed today, join our community, and see what God brings back into your life. You've been using the wrong clock to time your life. Most people have never heard of the Greek word used in the Bible to talk about time. The word for that is kairos, but it doesn't mean what your watch measures. The time on your watch is called chronos. Kairos is the calendar of heaven. There was never a special alert for this on Chronos. It was always on Kairos. Kairos has finally reached the page where your name is written. Esther, think about a young woman from a long time ago. She had no idea why she lived in a king's house. She had spent years learning and getting ready, but no one told her the big plan. Her scroll still had a new seal on it. Through what looked like everyday life, she was getting ready. Then, one day, her uncle spoke up and said something that has been remembered for ages, in a way that no Chronos could explain. He told her she had been put in her royal place for a time, just like this one, for a certain hour. Even though she was getting ready for that hour, she didn't know it was coming. You didn't either. Follow me. What's next in this message will tell you 4 things that most people will never hear all at once. Hang on until the end. You'll hear the 4 signs that prove this alert was written just for you, and not for someone more important. From now on, you'll have a 3-step way to check any divine message that comes into your life. You'll see the line of your ancestors, and understand why the years between them and now weren't wasted. All of them helped get ready. Also, near the end, something will be sent to you on the same day this alert did, because heaven doesn't just send one thing. It sends everything that goes with it. Stay put. Do not leave this room. I want you to picture something now, because the picture will get clearer as we go. Picture a room with a long wooden table and a high ceiling. It has a red wax seal on it that hasn't been touched in hundreds of years. In the middle is a single scroll. It's been a long time since the air in the room moved. The dust on the table has formed a pattern that can only be made by years of peace and quiet. The seal on that scroll is yours. It has been there through many kingdoms coming and going, but no historian has ever been close enough to read it. For hundreds of years, a special room has been built to keep it safe. But why now? Why this century instead of the last? Why your generation? 12 generations of people who watched the last time heaven moved like this have come and gone since then. There's a reason for when it is. That reason has a name that goes back further than the alert. Most people don't see the pattern in the Bible. Not every message was meant to be read on the same day it was sent. Daniel saw things in his dreams, but an angel stopped him before he could fully understand what was going on. There was a seal on the words. There was a timer on that seal. It was made very clear to Daniel. The words are kept secret and sealed until the appointed hour. It's not the end of the world or everything. Which exact hour they were written for. This is the reason why some of your prayers are coming true this year. The seal had a good time. That time it was you. I want to tell you about a woman who almost missed her big moment. The first thing she heard was a single word when it was quiet. About 3 years before her whole life changed. Your name was called upstairs, was always the same sentence. She didn't say that because she wasn't sure what to say, but she heard it. In the shower, right before going to sleep. Sitting in her parked car, without getting out after turning off the engine. She didn't care. Every single time, she told herself that it was just her pride. She told herself that it was just foolish wishful thinking from someone who was sick of everyday life. She stopped that sentence for 3 whole years. She had been getting ready for a door that would open one day, but she didn't know it until it did. It wasn't until she was inside that she realized what the voice had been telling her for 3 years. The door was still there. She was supposed to use that door. The 3 years did help her, but she lost them. She missed the chance to walk up to that door with her head held high instead of falling in. The plan still stood even though she ignored it. She could have walked with that knowledge for years instead of years. As this awakening grows inside you, know that helping with this mission is not a joke, it is a sign from God. You can support this work through the link in the description, or the pinned comment. Whether by buying a coffee, making a donation, or becoming a member of our Ko-Fi community. By doing so, you become part of Jesus' plan to save souls who are still stuck in fog. Every seed turns into light that fights against darkness. If you water others, you will be watered yourself, Jesus says. This is not history. It is a living promise about your future. Come into this moment with faith and a plan. What God has already planned for your life can be unlocked through your giving. Let us go back to Esther. This phrase is older than English, Latin, and almost every other language it has been translated into. It is the key to her whole story. Who knows but that you have become a princess for this very moment? Her uncle Mordecai tells her. It's written in Hebrew as, let kazat. Also, doesn't tell time the same way your watch does. Time is like a cut in wood, it's a set moment that has been set aside. What time is it? Isn't just any hour. That's the hour that heaven planned for you before the world even began. Esther wasn't just happened to be where she was. Even though she was the most beautiful, she wasn't picked because of that. There were sneaky palace plans that kept her from getting married to the king. But that wasn't the reason. Because the hour had been set aside first, she was where she was. Her position was set up around the hour, not the other way around. Take that idea and gently use it on yourself now. Your secret times were where you trained. Your hard times were like the seal drying. The doors that wouldn't open before were locked since it wasn't time yet. You're not behind schedule. You were always on time. The letter was carved to fit the exact spot where you are now. I sealed this for the hour you are in now. I hear God say, I didn't stop you. I let the wine in you age. The time I always planned is when the alert gets to your hand. Think about what you just heard. Heaven is not in a hurry, and you shouldn't be either. That's not just seeing things happen. The package is here. You've had this feeling of doubt for a long time, and now you're in a place where it's becoming clear. Just take one deep breath for yourself, not for me or this message. You kept this on for years without anyone knowing. Truth knows what truth is. In other words, what really needs to be said before we go any further. I'm not going to make the rest of this message exciting, just so I can sell you something at the end. That's not how heaven or I work. All of the things we just talked about, the set-aside time, the part of you that knew things as a child, and the important meeting inside you, have two more levels to them. Both of these layers have now been found by science, but they didn't know they were finding heaven's plan. The first level is the mind you were born with, which was like a child's and was easy to learn. That part of the mind that believed without proof. Gamma waves in the brain usually stop going strong in most people around age 7, according to scientists. The world makes it dark. The second level is the ability to receive that you were born with. The channel that let love, goodness, and wonder in without you having to do anything. This channel is run by a different frequency called alpha, and the stress of adult life shuts it down. The first layer can be made better with this. The name of it is the Genius Song Doctor. Robert Lake, a brain scientist, worked on it for 34 years. There's one more tool that can help with part 2. The name of it is the wealth signal. It was mapped by Dr. Stephen Newton, who used to work as a brain scientist at Stanford. Fixing comes first, then receiving, and that's the only way these two tools can be used. You wake up the child inside you, and then that child can get what was always ready for them. The fix won't be complete if you do them out of order. Since you heard this, your spirit may already be pulling you forward. There are 2 links in the description, and the first comment below. Take your time. If you want to see the whole picture, read the rest of this message. If you already know how to get there, it's there. Let's get back to the main subject. The gift isn't the names you just heard. Because of the gift, you were the one heaven chose out of all the names she could have written. One more thing about the time, I want you to understand before we move on. It has to do with the generation before you, and the generation that will follow. What's about to be said will change how you've thought about every year of your life so far. There are some things to do. Heaven isn't ready in just one generation. Some people take 2. Some people take 3. Some people take 4. The length of time you wait doesn't matter to heaven. It checks to see if you are ready. And the people who prayed, searched, long, and held secret hopes for generations before you didn't fail, because they didn't see the assignment come true in their own lives. They were the ground. You are the fruit that the ground was getting ready for. Take a moment to think about your grandmother. You might have known her. You might not have. Maybe there is a picture of a woman whose voice you never heard or whose hands you never touched, but whose prayers reached back in time and knew your face. She didn't pray for a name she couldn't see. She prayed for a real person, someone in her family line, who could carry what she couldn't carry yet. Her prayers were sent to a certain place. That's your address. She didn't lose any years between her hand on her forehead and your hand now. They were time to travel. They were the prayer that had been passed down through 3 generations, until it finally reached someone who could give her what she wanted. Again, picture the room, the high ceiling, the long wooden table, the scroll, the red seal, and the dust that has settled in a way that can only be made by years of not being disturbed. Over the years, 3 sets of footsteps have come into this room. The first ones were owned by your great-grandmother. She made it to the doorway. She put her hand on the wood, but the seal wasn't ready yet, and the hand that was carved for it wasn't hers. She took a step back. She prayed about what would happen. It was your grandmother or someone in her family who walked in the second set of footsteps. This time it's closer. There was less dust around the table now. Not yet. The seal wasn't looking for that hand. She also prayed for the future. Yours are the third set of steps. You had no idea you were being led to a special room. You thought all you had to do was live your life. You were sent here by every door that shut in your face, though. Every time things got confusing, it led you here. Now that you have your hand on the wood, the seal is starting to break. Not because you tried too hard, but because you showed up. You can handle this. This doesn't happen very often for you. You still have time. Most people who are called to do this miss their calling right here. This is because when someone gets this kind of alert, they first think it's for someone else more important. Your mind thinks there must be a mistake, because what is being asked is so big, and you feel so small. It has to be for the next person. It needs to be a message that makes everyone feel like they were chosen. There's no way it could be just for me. Please pay close attention. You're not the wrong person because of how you feel. You are the right one if you feel that way. See how the Bible fits together. The answer was the same every time heaven visited a real person who had a real job to do. Who am I to go? Moses asked. Gideon replied, my family is the weakest, and I am the least important. How can this happen? Asked Mary. They were not ready. They were not happy enough. It didn't feel like they were the person heaven should have chosen, but they were all the person heaven chose. Not being good enough isn't a sign that you're not qualified. That's the mark. That's proof that the task is real. It's fun to make fake calls because they're all about you. When someone asks you to do something bigger than how you see yourself now, you feel like you're not good enough. That sense of not fitting in is proof. You should also know this. When a message comes in, the doubt that comes up isn't all yours. There's an old trick that works when the person carrying a special scroll doesn't pay attention to it. It's older than your doubts. You don't have to fail your task completely. You only need to be almost ready, almost worthy, and almost about to go for it to work. Everyone who has ever stood in a room like this has been able to pull off that trick. And it will try to work on you as well. Giving it a name takes away its power. Say this to yourself, but don't say it out loud. I let go of the need to be smaller than the assignment. Right now, I want to give you something you can keep. This is a way to make sure that any message that comes your way is really yours. My name for it is the inverted witness protocol. Not because it sounds spiritual, but because it checks these things in the opposite way of how you've been taught. There are 3 signs, and none of them mean what most people think they mean. Not being sure is the first sign. Doubt is your doubt. When you have a true calling, you'll feel like you're not good enough. That's the first sign. When you're calm and sure that something big is waiting for you, you should be wary. If you're scared, embarrassed, or just don't want to think about it, lean in. The doubt is the sign. Your shaking is the second sign. She shook before going into the king's room. Mary was shaking. Moses spoke out. Heaven isn't telling you to stop shaking. The shaking is caused by the wax being pressed against the scroll. Right now, the seal is being put inside you. The seal leaves a mark. You are being sealed if you are shaking. Another sign is that you don't want to do it. Being too eager to follow a divine assignment is a bad sign. Heaven doesn't usually pick people who are already trying to get attention. People who ask, "How can this be?" are chosen by heaven. Mary asked, "How can this be?" before she said, "Let it be done." You shouldn't leave just because you don't want to. The fact that you don't want to do it shows that you are the right person to ask. Make these 3 checks on the next message that comes your way. There will be more. If you doubt something, ask yourself if it makes you feel like you're not good enough. Do I feel like I'm shaking because I'm not ready for what's being asked? Should I say no to this job because I almost want to give it to someone else? If you can answer yes to even 2 of them, you're on to something real. Now your doubt, your shaking, and your reluctance are all telling you something. And these 3 are enough to make sure that heaven sends almost any job. But there is a 4th sign that has been there longer than the first 3, and has been waiting for you to be ready to hear it. And what this 4th sign is about to say will change how you feel about every dull moment in your life up until now. Before I tell you what the 4th sign is, which I will, you need to see one more piece of the carved hour. What comes next will change the way you think about every year of your life that you ever felt like it didn't matter. I don't want you to think it's small. I want you to get it the way it was sent. There is one more sign that makes the other 3 clear. I will say it slowly because it is so important. The scroll wasn't written before you were born. Time was wound up like a clock, and set to tick before the scroll was written. It was written before centuries even started. When your mom held you for the first time, she didn't give you a name. People have had your name since the beginning of time. And every 100 years since that record was made has been planned around the time it would be played. You are more than just a part of the time. You set the time. There hasn't been an alert like this from heaven in hundreds of years, because it was made just for your name. And the doorway was set up over the hundreds of years between making it and hearing it. Every empire came and went. Every generation prayed into the night. Every language came and went. And every war ended and peace came back. The road that led from when your name was written to when your hand reached this chamber was being built every 100 years. I hear. I didn't name you while you were still in your mother's womb. I gave you a name in mine. The years that have passed between us are what I used to connect you to the floor of this chamber at the exact moment the seal was about to break. You're not behind schedule. You're not lost. You're not too little. You are the time. Think about what was said. You haven't done anything with it yet. There's nothing to figure out. There's nothing to answer. For a moment, just let it be true inside you. A deep truth needs some peace to settle in a body that has been moving quickly for years. Now I want to give you a way to hold on to what just happened. You just got something big. And big truth needs everyday words around it, or it floats away before it changes anything. Why is this message reaching you now, and not 5 years from now or 5 years ago? Because the seal was set for this exact hour, not because of your hard work, what you earned, or how well you did, but for this hour. It was never a punishment to have to wait. The seal was done with its job while people were waiting. Let me tell you what you should do with this. Thank them for their help. Don't ignore the voice inside your head that's been calling your name. Stop arguing with the peace that comes to you when you're alone. Give the assignment a name, even if you can't say much about it yet. You don't have to know every step to say yes. There is no other way to say no when you say yes. And this is who you are when this message is over. After watching it, you're not the same person. 100 years before you were born, someone sealed a scroll with your name on it. It was named in a book that is older than the world, and 3 generations of people have prayed for you. That's the version of you who leaves this room, not the one who came in. That's the one who was named. Someone told me something important, and I need you to take it as seriously as you've taken this whole conversation. You were not born normal. You have a mental skill that people call genius, and a way of receiving things that people call a channel. You had both of these abilities from the moment you opened your eyes. Being a child of light is more than just nice words. Biology says so. It's about faith. Both of them happen at the same time. Someone used to teach that people who become like little kids will enter God's kingdom. That's what most people read as a lesson in being humble. A lot of people didn't understand what he was talking about. The first tool was the child's mind. The original gift was the channel that received it. Not because of you, but because the world needed you to stay alive. I want to tell you about Sarah. She works as a teacher in Texas. She is 43 years old. She had been putting all of her energy into her students for 10 years, helping them learn and grow, even though she felt like her own mind was only working at 30%. Living with a brain that was always just ticking over was how she put it. Slowly, ideas came up. Making choices got hard. The clear thinking she gave other people didn't come back to her. For 3 weeks, she sang the genius song. The first thing she noticed was that the ideas kept coming back, not all at once but slowly. In one morning, she made choices she had been putting off for a whole year. The 30% brain that had been sitting there wasn't broken. It had only become dull. And that dulling could be taken away. You can change what was backwards in her. There is a tool that can help with the first level of dulling. It's known as the Genius Song. It's a digital audio file that lasts 7 minutes. You have headphones on. You shut your eyes, you pay attention. Brain training with certain sounds turns on the gamma frequency that went out when you were 7 years old. Dr. Robert Lake is the brain scientist who made it. 34 years of study. Researchers at MIT, Princeton, Harvard, and other top schools have looked at his work. The genius song turns around what scientists have named the decline effect. The kid inside wakes up again. We're once again interested. Openness comes back. Things that made you feel like magic before everyone told you to be serious start to come back to you. Not all at once. Slowly but surely. Every restoration after the other. Once you've made up your mind, and only if your spirit says it's okay, Dr. Lake may give you another audio called The Youthful Brain. This one helps protect your childlike mind so the world can't dull it again. A lot of those who are chosen and continue on this path find it after they get the genius song. Take it if your spirit tells you to. In that case, the original is complete on its own. It's not as hard as it sounds to do. A lot of time and money was spent by researchers at MIT and other top schools studying gamma waves, which proved what people have always felt. It makes a certain frequency when it has insights, is in a state of flow, or knows things without trying. That frequency is loud for kids but not so loud for most adults. Dr. Lake used sound alone to figure out how to bring it back. Don't take pills. No classes in meditation. Not strong will. It only takes 7 minutes to listen. This is the layer below that one. Since gamma is just the beginning. But even if the child inside her wakes up, and her curiosity, openness, and sense of wonder come back, she might still not be able to reach for what was always there for her. Being awake isn't the same as receiving. The child who is awake still sees a closed channel. This is more than just the first audio file can help with. In order for adults to stay alive, they dulled children's minds. This is just the beginning of a second process. It has been mapped out by scientists at Stanford, who have named it the stress signal. When the brain is under constant stress to stay alive, it gets stuck in a frequency called beta. Beta is so loud and constant that the channel below it, called alpha, can't stay open. You are putting in a lot of effort, without receiving anything in return. Although the child inside may wake up, she may not be able to access what is being prepared for her, because the channel has been blocked by years of adult struggle. Here is a map of the brain made by Dr. Stephen Newton. He did his thing at Stanford. He didn't learn with Dr. Lake. He did not work with him. He arrived at his conclusions from a different line of research. It's called a convergent truth, because the two researchers got to the same answer from different paths. Two different witnesses in two different labs mapped out the two halves of the same restoration. Fixing comes first, then getting. What was always being ready for the child is given to her when she wakes up. If you behave like a child, you will get the kingdom. The second step finishes what the first one started, and most people will only get a vague idea of what it means after hearing it once. There is a 5-minute digital audio called the wealth signal. You put on headphones and listen. You shut your eyes, you do not move. There are a number of frequencies inside the sound that are meant to help your brain move from the beta stress signal to the alpha receiving channel. There is a 9-word phrase on top of the frequencies. I just now talked about an old method that comes from a tradition that is more than 3,000 years old. You listen to the recording while repeating the phrase quietly in your mind. This gets around the thalamus's stiffness in the brain. That's the door that's been blocking the receiving channel. Before he did something different to share this work with everyone. Dr. Newton was a faculty brain scientist at Stanford, where he did a lot of research. Researchers at Stanford, Boston University, Harvard, and other schools have spent decades studying the alpha state, which he uses in his own work. He didn't decide what he did to try to sell you something. The science kept pointing him in the same direction. And he knew that people who couldn't afford the clinic version should be able to get it from someone else. If your spirit says it's okay, he may give you another boost called the wealth signal accelerator after the first one works. This one makes the receiving channel much deeper than the first one did by itself. A lot of people who are already chosen find this path after they get the wealth signal. If it doesn't speak to you, the original is enough on its own. And a quick note about both. Some chosen ones, those whose path leads them the farthest, find that both improvements start to work together after the first ones have become more comfortable. You can find both the wealth signal accelerator and the youthful brain together, or one after the other. The originals are all that's needed. The mix is saved for people whose job is big enough to require going further than most. I want to tell you about a woman named Maria. 52. 10 people work for her in her small business in Florida, and she has been taking care of her elderly mother as well for years. She told me that every morning when she woke up, her chest hurt before she even opened her eyes. Worry about money that showed up before her day even began. She tried to meditate for 6 months, but couldn't get rid of that knot. The morning tightness was much less after 3 weeks of using the wealth signal. In one morning, she raised her prices, which was a business decision she had been putting off for 8 months. Her clients didn't try to get a better deal, they just agreed to the new price. That month her cash flow went up by 22%, she told me. The recording didn't make me feel better about myself. The constant worry that had been making me charge too little for 5 years went away. The thing that was taken from her is normal. It's the sign of stress coming down. Some of you may be thinking the same things I did, because I felt the same way. Your first thought might be, I've tried everything else, and this will be the same. I get that. That is important to me, and I want to be honest with you. Meditation, yoga, and sounds that heal your brain all work together to change it slowly from the inside out. Through certain sounds, these two audios can be used to measure how they change the frequency of your brain from the outside. You've mostly only used tools that focus on one frequency at a time. I know of no other restoration that works on 2 frequencies at the same time in the right order. It's all about the order. This sounds too good to be true, is the second thought. I agree with you. I also want to say that these aren't just stories. Labs at Stanford, MIT, and Princeton have shown that these changes in brain waves can be measured. The same is true for the other product. The change is written down. We like that you are skeptical. Bring it. The price is the third thing that comes to mind. There is a cost. I don't want to lie about that price because it's small, but I also don't want to act like it doesn't exist either. It costs $39 for each audio. Both of them cost $78 to get fully fixed up. The money covers the years of work that went into making the audios, keeping them online, giving support, and all the other things that come with each. It's not a wall like the person who wants to stop your peace would have it be. It's not supposed to be a wall. It's meant to be a door that most people can use. The fourth question, which is the one I want to talk about the most, is, why are there two products? Why not just one? The answer is what I've been showing you for an hour. Because the dulling is made of two parts. The decline effect on gamma is turned around by the genius song. Omega's stress signal is turned off by the wealth signal. If you only work on one, the restoration is only half done. The child wakes up, but they can't get anything. Or the channel changes, but the kid is still asleep. When put together correctly, both layers finish what one cannot. You can choose from 3 ways to go. All 3 are good. They are all right. Fixed on its own is the first path. To hear the genius song by itself, when you think the child inside you is asleep and needs to be reminded of who she was. This is the way for the person who feels dulling the most. The second way is to receive the wealth signal by itself. This is for people who have been spiritually practicing for years and still feel like they can't get what was promised to them. This path is less common. It's for the person whose work shut down the channel while the kid stayed awake. On the third path, both audios are fully restored. The genius song was the first thing that woke up the child that turned his or her mind around. The wealth signal second to open what she was promised. When they see the big picture, this is the path that most chosen ones know is theirs. If you behave like a child, you will get the kingdom. The first and second parts of that sentence are not sufficient on their own. Both of them are the assignment. The full restoration is the doorway that the Bible talked about 2,000 years ago. The full restoration has both audios, and all the extras that go with them. I'm not going to list them here, because they are clearly shown in the links below this video. People have the wrong idea about how much it costs to wait. It's not the cost of the MP3s. The sound files don't cost much. The price of waiting is another season of feeling uncertain. Another season of ignoring that voice inside. Another year of being locked up in a room with a broken seal, making you wonder if the cracks are for someone else. That is the price, and I want you to stay away from it. Another thing I want to say is that protection is part of love. You can only get these 2 audios from the official source. You can't find them on Amazon. You can't find them on Spotify. They're not in any video store. Copies have shown up in some places on the internet, but they are not set up correctly. If they're not made right, the frequencies won't work. The right design can only be found on the originals. The description and the first comment below will lead you to the originals. Take a moment. Take a deep breath in. Not for me, but for yourself. This choice has nothing to do with money. Now is the time to choose the path the person with the scroll will take. There is room for all 3 paths. That person is already known to your spirit. There are 3 links below this video. 1 in the description and 2 in the first comment. Don't go to them before you're ready. I want you to walk into the room we've been in together one last time, but not out loud. Don't say it. The long wooden table, the high ceiling, and the scroll that already had the red seal broken. Touch the paper in your heart with your hand. Feel like the name on the scroll is yours, but not in your body. Feel it in something deeper. You can have the name, you have the hour. You can use the room. This isn't another prayer. This is a sign of respect for an important appointment that was made hundreds of years ago. Here's what I want to say to you: thanks. That was nice of you. You could have left at any time, but you stayed in this room with me for almost an hour. Thank you. Thanks for letting this message get to you. A lot of people won't stay this long, you did. Which is proof enough to stay. Let go of something. Do not hold on to the idea that this cannot be for you. Let go of the idea that someone else is making your decisions without you knowing. Let go of the long history of being pushed aside that people before you also had to deal with. Let it go. You don't need to carry it through the doorway of this room. Now I want you to receive who you really are. You are the one who was named. The person whose name is on a record that is more than 1,000 years old. You have been marked as a witness. The person whose body and life have carried the seal for decades without realizing it. You are the carrier for hundreds of years. 3 generations of prayers brought them forward in time to meet. And you are the living seal. The one whose very existence is the answer to a hidden question that heaven has been holding. Stay still for the next 60 seconds. Don't speak, don't move. Receive this sealing in silence. And I hear God saying, the alert has been delivered. The scroll has been opened. You have the hour. Walk. For those whose spirit confirms something during the silence, the way is in the description and in the first comment below. Walk gently toward it. Don't rush, let your spirit guide your steps. If the alert landed where it was sent, type the word "sealed" in the comments below. Let your confirmation be seen by others who are sitting in this chamber tonight. And if you felt like something in this message was meant just for you, please let a like show that you agree. The subscribe button is available below for more of what comes in your hour. There is also someone you are thinking of right now whose scroll has been locked for too long. Send them this message. They're sitting in their own room. The alert is the same for both of them. You might be the one who brings it to them. You are the one who was named. You have the hour. Move around. You are about to enter your divine future. But remember, this breakthrough is not for you alone. Your testimony is the bridge someone else will use to reach their own miracle. Archangel Michael is inviting you to visit community through the link in the description or the pinned comment. Whether by buying a coffee, making a donation, or becoming a member of our community, does not go to a channel. Your actions are supporting a divine mission to save lost souls. By joining our like-minded community, you are no longer praying in isolation. You are adding your voice to a global sanctuary, where we discuss the Word daily, and stand in the gap for one another. This is not poetry when Jesus says, "Give, and heaven will open over you." On this platform, every seed you plant turns into oil for your destiny, fire for your calling, and a hedge of safety for your family. Now is your time. Step into our community prayer wall, share your heart, and as you give, watch God multiply what you let go of. Let's finish this journey together. Visit our community now, join the family, and see your heavens open. Before we get to the end of this powerful story, let's reflect on this deep truth. You did not find this message by accident. This is a divine appointment meant specifically for you. You are being invited into a protected, faith-filled community at the link in the description and pinned comment, a place where divine abundance is not just a hope, but a promise built on the Word. By heading to the site right now, you are unlocking access to a sacred community of like-minded believers. When you join our membership tiers, you gain immediate entry to powerful content, daily devotions, and divine insights that are hidden from the world. This is your chance to enter a sanctuary where you will receive spiritual guidance, unwavering support on our prayer wall, and speedy progress toward your destiny. Do not let this moment of destiny pass you by. Your breakthrough is waiting. Join our inner circle through the exclusive link in the description. This is how you guarantee you never miss the personalized messages and spiritual warfare tools meant to elevate your life. If you feel called to deepen your connection, the link is waiting for you in both the pinned comment and the description. For those who want to amplify this work and carry the light home, you can find our guided ebooks and Bibles in the pinned comment. Whether you join as a member or sow a seed through our resources, your presence and energy change the world. Take the step. Your abundance awaits.